Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. We're on the road to Fight for the Fallen with AEW. Slightly different format than usual. We'll have a double helping of Dynamite today, so we'll have this week's episode and next week's. The following episode will just be one solo Dynamite, and then we'll be on the road to Fight for the Fallen. It's on the third week and I felt like I'd rather keep it like that because then it ensures I get a bigger build up to All Out and we have to, well, go all out with that particular pay-per-view. So we're on the back of Blood and Guts, so we're hoping that we can take the aftermath from that and continue to grow as a company. And we start off the show at the Rio Grande Credit Union Field at Isotopes Park in front of 13,279 people, with the reigning champion Hangman Page, who comes out to cut a promo, an 85 rated promo, and he just says, "There we go, yeah, again. Cowboy does it again. Retains the championship. Kenta gave a great fight, but at the end of the day, not enough for Hangman, not enough to deal with me and my posse, and I'm still standing here, your AEW World Champion. Is there anyone out there that can ever defeat me? Absolutely not." So a very arrogant promo from Hangman Page, but he is still your champion, and he starts the show with an 85 rated promo to pretty much annoy a lot of the AEW audience. Our opening match of the night had not a lot of heat and terrible wrestling, but I had Wardlow defeat Joey Janela in 9:29 with Splash Mountain, a 59 rated match up here. I think you've got to keep building up Wardlow. You know, eventually there will be a stage that him and MJF have a wee bit of a tiffle. So a good victory for him there in this matchup. A few negatives there. I think I made this my Wild Brawl matchup as part of the Wrestling Nerd Nirvana product, and yeah, overall I'm happy with it. As I say, there's still a long way to go with both wrestlers, so 59 is probably where they are in the card. And of course with our product, we just need to worry about the main event. Everything else can just kinda be development, which is good. Then backstage, pissed off from obviously being cost the championship last night, Kenta decides to take a wee bit of revenge out on the man that cost him, of course Shawn Spears, interfering on behalf of Hangman Page, and he just beats him down backstage. It leaves him down and out. Disappointed it was just a 44 rated segment. Kenta came across very well and Shawn Spears came across poorly, but maybe a bit more to touch on Hangman and Kenta. Move along, we had a decent matchup that saw Ace Austin defeat Orange Cassidy in 10:06 by pinfall using a foreign object. Of course, Orange Cassidy's fairly over, and Ace Austin is someone that we've recruited from Impact that we're hoping to continue to build up. And a very good 70 rated matchup here. Ace gets the victory, illegal means of course, but yeah, just moving away a wee bit from that TNT Championship picture and picks up a good victory over Freshly Squeezed. They have a hype package for MJF, just documenting his recovery from his injury that was apparently caused by Moxley. So a 69 here, and yeah, just showing him recovering. I'm using like imaginary quotation marks here because, you know, he's clearly fine, but that's part of the storyline. Now the matchup had subpar wrestling and little heat, as we had Scorpio Sky defeat Axel Dieter Jr. in 9:46 with the Fatal Lancer, a 61. Purpose for this matchup is to show the likes of Axel Dieter Jr., Eli Dragunov, etc., David Finlay Jr., all competent wrestlers, all very, very good wrestlers, but at the end of the day, Scorpio Sky is just still that wee level above. So it's ensuring that he's still gaining momentum, and the newer guys that are brought into the company are getting the exposure and defeat basically, but will be a massive part of their future. Moving along, we had AJ Styles continue his great run of form with a victory over Colt Cabana in 9:01 by submission with the Calf Crusher, a 68 here. Just AJ coming off as I say, another good strong performance at the pay-per-view, and yeah, great chemistry between these two, but it was just to showcase him and continue his momentum. Sometimes these shows after pay-per-views is just getting folk into a groove, getting ready for the next one. Promo from Absolute Ricky Starks, and he just says it's been a wee while since he's had a good run on AEW Dynamite. Maybe should stop overlooking him because people have got to realise just how damn great he is. And that's a 48 rated segment. His matchup was abysmal. He took on El Lindemann. He defeats him in 7:53 with the Buster Keaton. Crowd were turned off because it was too not as much over workers. It's one of those ones where I just kind of want to give him matches on Dynamite to get him over, because I feel like the sky's the limit with Ricky Stark. So he's someone that is going to get a strong push going forward. But a good one here. So you got to build them up some way, and sometimes you have the crowd maybe not as interested for now. We then had a matchup in our women's division. An abysmal matchup saw Toni Storm defeat Bea Priestley in 7:04 with Strong Zero. 50 rated matchup here. Just simple, getting Toni some momentum, because one day she's going to have to get ready for Shayna. Because Shayna has gotten some revenge on Nikki Storm. She's found her backstage and she completely beats the hell out of Nikki Storm. She is down, she is out. She is the most dangerous woman, not just in AEW, but in the whole of professional wrestling. And it's really going to be a really strong-minded individual that's going to have to take on Shayna Baszler at one point. But a 65 rated segment here, pretty strong stuff from Shayna. Next up, we had an abysmal matchup which saw Cody and QT, obviously a wee bit of distension because of what had happened previously, but they team up to take on John Silver and Alex Reynolds, the recruitment specialists, in 7:26 when Alex Reynolds was pinned with the Beautiful Disaster. Cody carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. A 57, of course, Cody's going to be far ahead of everyone in terms of overness and popularity here. QT's obviously mid to low 40s, and Alex and John were pretty new when this mod was launched, so they are obviously not as over. Alex Reynolds sustained pronator teres syndrome. I don't even know what that is. Off the top of my head, I need to go and look that up. But doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound like something you get a wrestle match. I don't know what it is. I'm not even going to hazard a guess. By the time this goes live, I'll have checked it as soon as I stop recording. So yeah, he's got that. In fact, let's go find out exactly what that is. So the joys of pausing mid-recording. Pronator teres syndrome is a compression neurotherapy of the median nerve at the elbow. It is rare compared to compression at the wrist, carpal tunnel syndrome, or isolated injury of the anterior isostosis branch of the median nerve. I've learned something today on this video. I don't know about you. So he's got a bit of an elbow issue. That's cool, that's fine. I didn't know that. I now do. A good one for Cody and QT anyway. That's the point. So we'll see how that affects Alex going forward. But after the matchup, obviously Cody was a bit annoyed and a bit peed off with QT because of what happened at Blood and Guts, but he puts it over to QT and just shakes his hands, and a kind of gesture of, you know, you can approve yourself tonight. And yeah, fair play. So a 33 for the handshake, and Cody and QT look like we'll be on the same page. I'm going to give away a bit of a spoiler here. The plan was Cody was going to turn heel and just destroy QT, and Cody didn't want to turn heel because of his merchandise, so Cody's not turning heel. That's basically the storyline. So I need to go and try and get back to the drawing board. I need to obviously ensure that we're getting the most over with some of our guys. So it would have been nice to get Cody heel so then he could weasel him into the title picture. Of course that really is not allowed to contend for the title. I'm sticking to it. But for now, Cody will remain a babyface and will continue working alongside the Nightmare family. And our main event for the evening had superb wrestling and great heat, and it was the team of Brodie Lee and Darby Allin who defeated Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega in 15:20 when Darby Allin pinned Kenny Omega with a fast roll-up. Of course we all know about the feuds that have been on here. 83 rated matchup, so I think we should be good with an 85 and an 83 of our best two segments. Excalibur was a weak link. Yeah, Moxley taking another L with Kenny, and the final segment, I must actually say before we go to the final segment, good one for Brodie and Darby. Dark Order, sorry. Strong AF. But it's basically Omega and Moxley coming to a heated confrontation, but they don't come to blows. This is just basically Moxley still feeling the after effect of causing that injury to MJF. It's like really affected him psychologically. He's not quite confident in himself. And Kenny's just like, what the hell, man? Get your head in the game. Look what you've done. You've cost us this victory. So an 83 rated segment for that. The show itself, spectacular. 81 overall. And that increases our popularity in 43 regions. So that's part 1. Let's crack on with the next episode of AEW Dynamite. So we're on to our second episode of Dynamite, and the joys of recording back-to-back episodes in the same video is a lot can happen over the course of 1 week, so we'll cover that quickly before we get into the second week of July's show. First and foremost, The Undertaker has retired in-game. That's confirmed. Alex Reynolds was out for 1 year with that injury, so it was a severe injury. He did take surgery though, and he will be back in 6 months. So Johnny Hungy is going to have a solo run for the remainder of the year, unless someone else joins the Dark Order. With that last show, I didn't realise we were as close. We've now become a large company, so that's good. We are going to be quite close to fighting WWE. So real emphasis in getting the company from 78 popularity to 80. So you've got a wee protection point, so then if we lose any area battles, we won't be affected by popularity and drop down in size too much. We have made one pretty good signing, non-on-screen, I suppose, or non-wrestler role anyway. So in hope that their contract starts before, I've moved Fight for the Fallen to the end of the month. So forget what I said in the first part of the video. It's basically back to normal of next week will be the 2 episodes of Dynamite, and then we'll have the pay-per-view after. They might miss that for their debut, so their debut may be the first Dynamite on the road to All Out. But someone I felt like I had to get to take the company forward, and fingers crossed how good they turn out. Mamma mia, it could be a big one. So without ado, that seems to be all the news I've got written down from show to show. Not actually too much happening in this episode. It's more of a just let the guys wrestle, but building the card up surely by surely. It's a weird one because I've got my All Out card pretty much written out. I don't have too much for Fight for the Fallen, so it's kind of like, what steps can I take in these couple months in here to get to there? Interesting. Anyway, pre-show matches from the Hodges Stadium for this episode of Dynamite. Ace Austin go over Brandon Cutler in 7:42 Aces High. Good victory, 56, simple, getting some more momentum to Ace Austin. And in the women's division, we had an abysmal pre-show match that saw the team of Chris Statlander and Anna Jay defeat Brie Priestley and Jamie Hayter in 7:39 when Statlander pinned Hayter. 41. In these instances, it's getting Anna Jay as many of these matches as she can as dark matches before we eventually get her onto television, because she's probably had about 8 matches in this save. So yeah, we've got to get her developing and as good a worker as we can before she goes from the start of the show to potentially being number 99. On to the show itself, and we start it with Cody, Dustin and QT, and they say it's good to be back on the same page, the Nightmare family, and Cody apologises to Dustin and apologises to QT. He says it was just one of those nights where it didn't quite go to plan, but hopefully they can kick on and go from there. That's a 78 rated promo. In this, they say they are going to look to challenge the Jurassic Express for the AEW Trios Championships at Fight for the Fallen, and Cody's going to take on Jungle Boy in our opening matchup today. So you can imagine Cody good, Dustin good, QT obviously is going to struggle off script and a lack of overness, but we'll work with QT Marshall in that regard. And the match itself was a good opener, probably could have been evented, but there was a big match for that. It was about that had good heat and decent wrestling, as Cody takes the win over Jungle Boy in 1804 with the Beautiful Disaster. 77, good chemistry with Luchasaurus at ringside for Jungle Boy. Cody Shawn, everything good's for Cody, and I'm really looking forward to that 6-man tag when it happens at Fight for the Fallen. A small penalty for the odd face heel combination because 2 baby faces, but we have a loosely enforced alignment here. We then have our announcement for our main event of the evening, and it's going to see the team of Jon Moxley, who's obviously still reeling from that MJF injury, Kenny Omega, Nick Jackson and Matt Jackson as they take on the team of Brodie Lee, Darby Allin, Stu Grayson and Evil Uno from the Dark Order. So that 67 segment is your main event matchup tonight. We then move on to a promo where Sammy Guevara says it's time for him, Santana, Ortiz and Jake Hager, of course the Inner Circle, to move away from life after Chris Jericho and start pursuing one thing they never really had a chance with Jericho in charge, and that is gold. So they'll be looking for Guevara to win a championship, for Hager to win a championship, and for Santana and Ortiz to start chasing those tag team belts. So a good promo there. That was a 73. With Sammy in action, and Sammy took on Miro, and it was a decent matchup as Sammy Guevara defeated Miro in 13:45 at the 6:30, and a 73, pretty good overall. Sammy off his game as well. A slump for Miro though continues and continues. The man just can't seem to buy a win in AEW, and is probably questioning if this was the right decision to make the move. Backstage though, we see the returning from injury Kip Sabian. And he just looks and goes, well, look at this loser. What has happened? I go away for a couple of months through injury, and I come back and AEW has just signed lots of losers that are just taking up the card. What a mess. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens between Sabian and Miro down the line. I had Brian Cage destroy Michael Nakazawa in 4:28. It wasn't a glitch, that was intentional. With a pump handle facebuster. 51 rated matchup. Again, you're just looking to make Cage look an absolute $1,000,000 there. So a good win for him over Nakazawa. I think I made that while brawl. So well done, guys. And with Kenta, who just says his business is not finished with Hangman Page. He's took out Shawn Spears, and he's going to take out Hangman Page to ensure that he gets another chance at the AEW World Championship. A fair chance. That was a 62 rated segment. Not too bad, because English, of course, not Kenta's first language. And he was in action against Matt Hardy. Big money Matt. And it was a decent matchup that saw Kenta defeat Matt Hardy in 9:02 by stoppage. He knocked him out. So Matt Hardy couldn't continue. And a 68 rated match, pretty good there, sees Kenta pick up the win. This should be the other way around. It's an issue with the angle and it's text. But basically, it's Hangman that tries to attack Kenta, but fails, and Kenta beats him up. So, despite the text coming up as Kenta attacks Hangman, he gets beat up. The person that gains from the angle is Kenta, which is the intention here. So, yeah. I need to stop using that angle because it's not right. Or maybe I could just stop being lazy and fix it. So, Hangman attacks Kenta after the matchup, and a GTS sends Hangman to sleep. So 82, good promo, or good segment anyway, for our world title combatants. In the women's division, with a terrible matchup that saw Shayna Baszler defeat Heidi Lovelace in 12:48 with the armbar. Quite disappointed that a 61 is a terrible match. Really, I mean, that's probably two of our most over women's athletes, probably maybe with the exception of Riho. But yeah, just again, Baszler just destroying the competition within the women's division, and Heidi Lovelace yet another to fall foul of an armbar and a submission victory for Baszler. And after the matchup, she basically says, Tony, I've seen you been picking up some victories, and I hear you want a wee bit of redemption against me. It's fine. I'll see you at Fight for the Fallen for this women's championship, because trust me, we'll be fighting and you'll be falling. So a 69 there for Shayna. She's just being booked as dominant as we can. It's how she should be booked in real life, man. She's an MMA fighter. She's got to be just feared, basically. That's the way her booking has to be. Moving along, we have the main event coming up now. So we have Omega and the Young Bucks asking Moxley, is your head in the game? Are you right tonight? You know what I mean? We don't want you costing us a victory tonight, killing some momentum for us going forward. Make sure you're not affected by that MGF injury. So in 84, weak performances at the announce booth by Tony Schiavone, Excalibur and Matt Striker. So it could have been even higher, but still 84. It is pretty decent. Which leads to our main event, which is just a 74, so we may see a wee pop loss here. I was hoping this would do better, But a good matchup saw the Dark Orders, Brodie Lee, Darby Allin, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson defeat Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks in 1801 when Darby Allin pinned Matt Jackson with the coffin drop. So we had to protect Matt Jackson, so that's going to cost us a few points, and I think Uno and Grayson wouldn't have had the most overness, so that would have cost us as well. But yeah, a wee bit disappointed that it got a 74. Lots of positives there in terms of hot new moves and public support. The dirt sheet will give us a better idea of where we fell foul. So really just Uno and Omega's inconsistency. Maybe I could have made the match 20 minutes, that may have helped with our product. But yeah, just a bit disappointed that fell just that wee bit flat. So we need a good end segment, or I think we might be losing pop here. And a 79, and it's not, it says hyping an upcoming matchup, it's really just the case of Kenny getting in Moxley's face and just going, what the hell is your problem, man? Figure it out. And then just pushing him, and Moxley just stands there looking dejected, wondering what the hell is going wrong. 76, we increased our popularity in 33 regions, so I think that might be everywhere bar the US. So overall, pretty happy with that. We'll jump to the main screen. I hope it doesn't spoil too much. There's a chance it will, but we'll see what news items pops up anyway. So, catchphrase. Matt Jackson seems to have struck gold with a new catchphrase that he debuted apparently at the spur of the moment at Dynamite. So, well, I bet that'll be on BTE. NXT looking to re-sign Fabian Eichner, and Scallop Bordeaux has a lumbosacral strain. So we can see one person we're trying to sign is Mia Yim. Honestly, just trying to get as much strength into our women's division as we can. Let's see if she's still the one we're considering, so she should be coming in. It's just getting as many that are over as possible, because I want to do like a 1 hour women's show off stream, just so I can start getting the likes of your UK Sakazaki, your Anna Jay, just give them as much time as possible just to develop their skills, get their overness over, so we can have a real strong women's division, because we've got a strong male division, and obviously in real life there's a lot of ifs, buts, maybes and doubts about the women's division in AEW, so hopefully we can work towards that. Jerry Lynn needs a new contract, that's fine, we'll give Jerry Lynn that. Can we just put you on a handshake deal actually? Save a wee bit of money. For now anyway. What I found interesting, I started a save with Gaz's 1995 mod. Didn't realise he was in WCW as Mr. JL. I didn't watch wrestling in 95, I was like a 98, 99 person for wrestling, so that was a surprise. So looking forward to see how I book him there. Viewing figures were 2.67. The only other thing I'm going to check, so I don't want to spoil stuff, is just the size of the company. So that gives you an idea. We're 78, so we just need to ensure that we can, as I say, just make sure we're as strong as possible within here, Canada and the US. So Canada, was that one there at 71? Yeah, so that's just enough to make sure we're popular enough. That could take a bit of time, the Titanic level, because obviously Martins is still a mile away. All there is just one off, a mile off in Mexico. British Isles, we don't have a show in the British Isles. Japan, Europe, Oceania, and there. So we just need to ensure we're at large for a long period of time, because Titanic, not for a while. But anyway, that's it for this episode. Thanks very much for watching. We'll move along on to the next double header, and then we'll be on the road to Fight for the Fallen, and then all out. We'll hopefully have a spectacular event. There will be a time where we'll look to probably go to 2 shows as well, because the roster is getting quite big. But for now, we'll keep it as it is. But let me know what you think. Let me know what your favourite format is. If it means more episodes, but maybe make it 1 by 1, because I mean this portion alone is only going 15 minutes, then I can look towards that. But let me know what's best, because I just want to get to the future and get some wrestling more started and quite a few saves. But cheers for watching, take it easy, see you soon, bye bye.